everyone, welcome back to Steins Gate. In the last episode, we had a really weird dream where we were 70 million years in the past and Mayuri came to die with us. And then we woke up. And let's continue. I chug a Dr. P and check my phone. No new emails. I sent Teeter a mail several hours ago just to make sure that he really isn't Suzuha's father. He hasn't replied yet. Obviously, Daru and the others don't know that I changed the past. Instead, they remember partying with Suzuha all night long. It was strange listening to them happily talk about an event I attended, but do not remember. Wait, is that my phone ringing? Ugh. One look at the name makes me want to groan. It's Fetus. I've said it 1,000 times, but I'm not good with that cat girl. She's always ties me in knots. My instincts tell me not to pick up. This is Hoin Kyoma. Meow, it's Fatis Nyan. Oh, it's you, Akiha Rumiho. Nya? Who's that, Nya? I could have sworn her real name was Akiha Rumiho. Don't tell me, could the D-mail have changed that too? Fatis is Fatis, Nya. I don't have any other names, Nya. Yeah, right, your true name is Ferris. My apologies. Of course, she's just being her usual self. Well, what is it? If Fatis is calling me, it might be about the IBN 5100. She did promise to help me find one. You've been too conspicuous, Nya. The cat's out of the bag, and now you're trapped, Nya. Eh? More of Ferris's usual nonsense. The 4 Guardian Kings have awakened, Nya. There's no escape, Nyan. Is that so? If you think the 4 Guardian Kings can stop me, just wait and see. Akiba will be drowning in blood before nightfall. After the 4 Kings are the 4 Guardian Queens, Nya. After that, the 8 Devils, and then the Black Angel 12, Nya. That many? What's going on in this town? You've really stirred up a hornet's nest, Nya. I'm sorry, Kyoma, but this is checkmate, Nya. No, it's not over yet. If I can just acquire an item, I can turn the tide. Have you still not located the IBN 5100? Sorry, Nya. I have agents looking all over the world, but still no luck, Nya. What? So she has no progress to report? Please hurry, I'm running out of time. Okay, Nya. I'll tell you as soon as I find one, Kyoma. Until then, hold on to your 9 lives, Nya. Yeah, I can't die yet. El Sai Congr. She hung up before I could finish. What did she call for? Damn it, that's why I hate talking to Fetus. Anyways, moving on. And then this time around, my search for the IBN 5100 is going poorly. Actually, I suppose I should consider myself lucky for having found one so easily the first time. I mean, the IBN 5100 is practically an urban legend. There are people like Moika who spent months searching with no success. Last time, it barely took me 3 days to reach Yanabayashi Shrine, almost as if something was guiding me there. It was fate. No, it was the choice of Steins Gate. That's why its loss is so painful. Guess that's why they call it the Phantom PC. Daru is sitting at his computer, like always. I read on iChannel that some collectors will pay millions of yen to buy one. IBN 5100 are serious business, man. If they have that high a premium, then people must know their secret. They're all after the data in Saturn's mainframe. I don't get it. How come they're so expensive? I mean, I guess they're pretty expensive to begin with. Looks like one costs about $2,000, $20,000 back in the day. $20,000, that's expensive. Anyway, I can't believe it's so hard to find one. Sure, it was a nice machine for its time, but only for its time. You'd have to be crazy to want one now. Maybe it's one guy buying them all up. The harder something is to attain, the stronger the desire for it becomes. That's how people are. That's exactly how I feel now. In the depths of Saren, completely isolated from the outside, lies a database coded with an IBN 5100. What secrets are sleeping there? Could it contain the data from Saren's time machine research? Could there be proof that the Committee of 300 exists? The desire to know grows stronger by the day. It's not just about plunging the world into chaos anymore. We need the power to oppose Saren's evil ambitions. And then there's a threatening email to consider. Daru is confident that Saren won't find us, but I can't afford to take that for granted. After all, we're up against the brightest minds in the world, the scientists who invented the World Wide Web, and they're backed by a secret organization more powerful than any nation. We're way out of our league here. They'd have no trouble at all crushing our puny lab if they desired. That's why we need a trump card to hold against them. But without an IBN 5100, we can't move forward. I'm getting restless. Whoa, what's this? Daru suddenly lurches forward to stare at his monitor. What's wrong? But there's no way that's right. What are you talking about? Explain. Well, I'm pulling data off the server, looking for a way to gain root access. And these files are downloading crazy fast. I mean, we're talking about light speed here. It's hard to believe, but for some reason this area has direct fiber optic line to Saren. Several lines even. Direct? What do you mean? I mean, there's literally a fiber optic cable running from underneath this building to Saren's headquarters in France. Is that strange? Yeah. Daru calls up the National Assembly of France's website. Then he brings up the command prompt and hammers out some commands. Have a look. This is the route we use to visit the National Assembly in France's site. It starts from our IP address. From there, it passes through various relays in Japan, jumps to France, and then bounces around for a while before finally reaching the National Assembly's site. It takes 16 steps total to get there. The average transfer rate is about 300 milliseconds. That's normal for an overseas connection. In other words, there's a route we have to take to get to France from Japan. Everyone takes the same route. Other countries are the same. Even browsing domestically takes about 10 steps. Now let's try Saren. Daru calls up Saren's homepage on the browser. He displays the route like last time. The result? There's only one step. Unlike before, the signal doesn't bypass any intermediate servers. The PC we're using is registered name Akiba _ PC is connected directly to Saren in France. And the transfer rate is hundreds of times better than usual. Crazy fast. You can't believe these numbers domestically, man. Why do we have a direct line? Is that even possible? It was like this when we found it. I didn't do anything. So the building already had a hotline to Saren? This can't be a coincidence. It might just be the choice of Steins. It doesn't make sense. Why would there be an independent line running from here all the way to Saren? Daren's so excited he interrupted me. No Japanese or French telecommunication company would set up something like this, which means Saren did it themselves. Daru gulps and nods. Cold sweat oozes from his brow. I feel a chill as well. Saren might be able to see everything we're doing. No, maybe Saren has been expecting us for years. How could that be? The answer is simple. John Teeter claims that Saren completed their time machine in 2034. Just 2 years later, the world is in dystopia under their rule. Maybe the Saren of 2034 considered our opposition in 2010 a threat. Maybe they use their time machine to travel back to the 2000s and install a fiber optic cable to track our every move. It's entirely possible. Has the invention of a time machine started an intertemporal war? If so, what can we do? Our enemy might be stronger than we can imagine, than even I can imagine. No, I mustn't lose heart. I need to think positive. But thanks to this direct line, we can now control the LHC remotely. You figured out how? Wow, that's amazing, Daru-kun. Mayuri pauses her DVD and comes up beside me. With a connection this fast, we can control the LHC practically in real time. I haven't actually tried it yet, though. That's right, even if this is some kind of Saturn trap, we might be able to make use of it. They're still vulnerable to our attack. The LHC is that 20-kilometer long tunnel thing, right? What does it do again? It accelerates protons and smashes them together. Oh yeah, mini black holes, right? The official line is that the mini black holes might manifest as a byproduct of particle collision. But that's not the truth. According to the top secret documents we found, the LHC was intended to create black holes from the very beginning. But we still don't know exactly how they do it. We need to think of a way to... Okabe? Kurusu suddenly emerges from the development room. She was cooped up in there all morning. Her expression is unusually grave. What's wrong? I figured it out. Figured what out? I think I know how the phone wave works. Really? Kurusu nods. She still hasn't smiled. Keep in mind that this is just a hypothesis based on what we've observed. It's closely related to what you guys were just talking about, the LHC. I believe it was you, Christina, who called the LHC the world's largest microwave. Yes, exactly. My hunch was right. You've created a monster, Okabe. A monster? It doesn't belong in some amateur lab, and before you take that as an endorsement of your abilities, I mean it in a bad way. Kurusu clutches her arms as if to keep from trembling. Give me details. Did you know that the microwave oven was intended as a byproduct of radar research? Daru and I nod. Mayuri shakes her head. We've read up on all that back when the phone wave named subject to change started acting weird. Microwaves are electromagnetic waves with a frequency of 2.45 gigahertz. The phone wave is a commercial grade, so its output is around 1500 2000 watts. Here's the important part. Kurusu goes to explain that the electromagnetic wave output by the microwaves are somehow connected to the electromagnetic waves output by the phone. In fact, you could say that they fuse together. According to Daru's blueprints, the microwave and the phone are made to send out shared electromagnetic waves by taking their leads. The hardwiring each of them to the magnetrons, cathode and anode. I don't know what those words are. Cathode and anode. On the other hand, we have the microwave's super strong electromagnetic waves, originally a byproduct of the military's research into radar technology. On the other hand, we have the cell phone's standardized electromagnetic waves, a frequency now ubiquitous throughout the world. What happens when you fuse those two waves together? Both devices use electromagnetic waves. I'm not a specialist, though, so I can't examine the extent of or magnitude of the influence the fuse has. But, hypothetically, if the cell phone were to become a stepping stone scattering the military-grade electromagnetic waves over a vast range of hundreds of kilometers, then not just Akihabara, but all of Tokyo would turn into the inside of a microwave oven. Taking into account slight variances due to body weight, the average time until death for people inside would be 3 minutes. Seriously? Then the phone wave is a weapon of mass destruction, isn't it? Is it really that powerful? Let me tell you what happened inside the phone wave. The air inside the oven is full of invisible hydron atoms. First, it bombards the atoms with microwaves to increase their energy potential. This is the normal function of a microwave oven. But when you add the electromagnetic waves from the phone, the harmonics trigger the chain reaction. The particles collide repeatedly at near light speeds, gaining mass and the energy each time. In other words, it becomes a sort of particle accelerator. Particle accelerator? It's literally the same as the LHC. So, if the LHC was created to generate mini black holes, then the phone wave, named subject to change, must also produce mini black holes. Kurusu doesn't deny it. It's a miracle that the thing has been so stable. But there's still one thing I don't understand. Even if it does produce mini black holes, they should evaporate instantly. But that's not what happens in the phone wave. The jellification phenomenon proves that. Just like in the LHC, our mini black holes are turning into Kerr black holes. According to Teeter, you have to inject electrons to produce the Kerr black hole effect. Where do injected electrons come from? That's what I don't understand. The LHC uses something called a lifter to inject electrons into the black holes and control the gravitational field. Something is filling the role inside the phone wave. Something. Like I said, I don't know what. So I guess that's what it comes down to. All Kurusu's explanation does is confirm our hypothesis that the phone wave, named subject to change, functions the same as the LHC. Looks like we need to review what the LHC is. It's time for our LHC Moe guy to shine. Hold on, I want to check my mail. It's easy to pretend to be someone you're not. Ultimately, however, there's no escaping contradictions between your false self and the real you. It's a paradox. Paradoxes can't hold. I tried to tell myself that I didn't need anyone, that forming bonds would only hurt, but somehow I ended up joining your circle of friends. I still don't know if it's for the best. No, I'm sure it was. Without you, I would have given up ever finding my dad. I don't know why I wrote all this. I guess what I'm trying to say is thanks. Aww. Are we sharing confessions now? Be careful to whom you expose your innermost feelings. They may... wish there was another option, but whatever. Alright. LHD stands for Large Hadron Collider. Hadron? It's the name of an elementary particle. The LHC is basically a huge circular tunnel underneath Switzerland and France. It sits about 100 meters below ground and has a total length of 27 kilometers. There are 2 rings that run through the tunnel. Inside the rings is a super low temperature vacuum, an environment like outer space, basically seriously moe. In an adjacent facility, protons are gradually accelerated by the linear accelerator and the proton synchrotron booster and the superproton whatever. Finally, they're injected into the LHC, where they undergo their final acceleration via a series of superconducting magnets installed in the tunnel. By now, they're traveling up to 99.9999991%, the speed of light. That's enough to melt your brain. Not as dangerous as the phone wave, though. Finally, the accelerated protons collide approximately 1 to 10 billion times per second. The purpose of the LHC project is to study the high-energy reactions that result, or so they say. We know they're a bunch of stinking liars. I guess that's about covers it. And that, my fellow lab mems, brings us to the question, can the phone wave named subject to change beat Sanin to true physical time travel? 2 problems. 1, setting the destination to the lifter. We've already established that the D-mail arrives precisely when and where it's supposed to. It's dangerous to accept that without verification. Agreed. As for the lifter, we already know it exists. We just need to figure out what it is. I don't think we're going to find it. The phone wave's not exactly big, you know, and we've been poking at it for days without turning up a clue. Even if we do find it, it'll take forever to learn how to tune the electron feed properly. How long is forever? Senin's been working on it for 9 years, and they still haven't solved it. We're just amateurs, so it's bound to take even longer. Wait, I have an idea. Let's look at it from a different angle. Senin tried to send people back in time, but they can't get the electron field right. Singularities were not naked. It's the same with the phone wave named subject to change. You can only send 36 bytes of data safely, otherwise you get a jellyman. Let's consider the problem in reverse. What if we could convert human into data? What if we can convert a human to data, then compress that data into just 36 bytes? We could send that person through the ring singularity just like a D-mail, couldn't we? Convert a human to data? That's not even possible, man. And even if it were, there'd be exabytes of data or something. You want to compress that into 36 bytes? Are you high? I thought it was a good idea. I guess it's not that easy. The barriers to time travel are just too high. I turned to Krisu, meaning to ask her opinion, and then I realized her expression has changed dramatically. Her eyes are wide as saucers and her mouth is hanging open. Of course, if it works, then maybe. She pauses for a second and then, maybe we can do it. Do what? Time travel? It's hard to believe what Krisu is saying, even though it was my idea in the first place. Are you serious? Krisu grins triumphantly in response. Data compression part, at least, is easy. We can just use black holes created by LHC, since black holes compress everything they swallow. Compression won't harm data like it would harm a human. As long as we're just sending data, there's nothing to worry about. I get it. But wait, can we really pull off such a stunt? And besides, how do you plan to convert humans into data? You know that my thesis got published, right? This is no time to flaunt your accomplishments. Have you read it? I haven't. I've got the scans if you want to read it. Daru opens his image folder and scrolls past a ton of 2D porn and opens up the scanned image. Why wouldn't you have that organized? Sure enough, there's Krisu's name in big English letters. The title of my thesis is Analysis of Memory-Related Nerve Impulses in the Temporal Lobe. Temporal lobe? Nerve impulses? What? You didn't know? No, wait. This can't be right. The title sounds like neuroscience, not physics. I'm a neuroscientist. Got a problem? What? I can't believe it. From the way she talks about particle accelerators and time travel theory, I was sure she had to be a physicist. No, forget about that. How is this related to time travel? Converting an entire human into data is impossible, but converting a human's memory may be possible. Converting memories to data? Krisu proceeds to explain her thesis. Memories accumulate in something called a parahippocampal gyrus, or the hippocampus, which is located in the temporal lobe of the brain. But what exactly are memories? Krisu thesis analyzes the question from a neuroscientific perspective. All of the brain's functions manifest as electrical signals. Blah, 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 blah. All of the brain's functions manifest as electrical signals running through the neurons. Each memories are written to the hippocampus by electrical signals. Krisu analyzes how specific electrical signals correspond to specific memories. The mechanism by which humans recall memories can be likened to a word association game. You begin with vague, abstract images which call successive images of increasing clarity. Image of a chest of drawers. Each drawer is filled with tiny boxes, and each box is another bunch of tiny boxes. You keep opening boxes until you find the memory you're looking for. Krisu discovered that the number of retrieval commands, nerve impulses used to search up memories, is surprisingly low. Out of hundreds of millions of nerve impulse patterns in the brain, only a few thousand are related to memory. It was a successful analysis of these patterns that earned Krisu her research team critical acclaim in the scientific community. Now, before you ask how this relates to time travel, there's one more thing I need to explain. Several years ago, my lab, the Neurophysiology Lab at Victor Condoria University, developed technology called Visual Rebuilding, or VR for short. Put simply, it enables conversion of video data into nerve impulse signals. Used in reverse, it can also convert nerve impulses to video data or any other kind of electronic data. So if we combine VR technology with my research, do you see where I'm going? No way. We can convert memories into data. Not just that, memory transplantation, backups, external storage, all of those things become possible. It's like science fiction. In a sense, this technology could be used to copy a person's soul. According to Krisu, some religious groups strongly oppose this research, as you might expect. On the other hand, the medical community is ecstatic about the possibilities. In any case, it's amazing that my assistant here was able to make such an incredible discovery. Of course, she did have a university supporting her, but still. So basically, what you're saying is that we convert the subject's memories into video data. Use the LHC's black holes to compress that data into 36 bytes. Send that data through the curved black holes inside the phone wave named subject to change. And finally, imprint those memories on a test subject's brain in the past. What does that mean? We can send our memories back in time. In order to differentiate it from the physical time travel, let's call it a time leap for now. You don't go back, just your memories. It's so crazy that nobody thought of it before. She's right, the idea is ridiculous, which is exactly why none of these geniuses at Steins could come up with it. But this union of physics, neuroscience, neurophilosophy will make the impossible possible, to transfer memories to the past via cell phone, to time leap. The important thing to remember is that the only memories are being transferred. Personality and consciousness aren't included. What does that mean? How is it different from what you see in sci-fi novels? Time leaping in sci-fi usually sends everything: consciousness, personality, and memories. But in real life, there's probably too much data, and besides, we only analyze memories. Think of the consequences, personality, and memories as separate things. Memories are like video data stored on your computer. And the consciousness and personality are like the OS. But videos can take up way more space than the OS. It's just an example. For starters, it's still not clear where personality and consciousness are located or how they are constructed. So we can't convert them into data, or at least I can't. So we can only send memories? Where does that leave us? Your memories aren't the only thing that define you. Even if you send your memories to the past, it'll be receiving used subconscious personalities that process them. So in Mindor's terms, it's like copying data from a Vista computer to a Win95 computer. Data created with the latest OS might not work with an older OS. That it might cause errors. For example, if you sent your current memories of yourself in elementary school, the gap between your memories and your body could have serious consequences. Anyways, is it correct to assume that we'll be targeting ourselves in the past? Kurisu nods at my question. Just like with the D-mail, we're using cell phones as a transfer medium. To be precise, you can only leap into your own body, and only if you had a cell phone at the time of the reception. There was an exception in Lukaku's case where we sent a D-mail to a pager, but that doesn't apply to time leaping. If you try to send memories to somebody else, how do I put it? There's a danger of electronical signals might be rejected. Wouldn't want to jump into somebody else's body. I mean, unless it's the body of a cute girl. Is this guy capable of non-perverted thought? Don't me, you idiot. If it just bounces off, that's fine, but I'm worried incompatibility memory data might do serious damage to the recipient's psyche. I don't know what might happen. No one's done it before, after all. That makes us pioneers. I like it. There are two things I do know. One, you definitely cannot go back before you were born. And two, you won't exist in two places at once. That means you don't have to worry about causing a paradox. You can't kill your parent before you were born. So the phones can act like black and white holes. It seems like a strange coincidence that cell phones would be a medium of time travel, but really, could it have been anything else? These days, people wear their phones like a second skin. No other medium could reliably deliver the memories to their intended target. The more I think about it, the more I realize that this was meant to be. I whip out my phone and place it to my ear. It's me. Everything is falling into place. The plan can now proceed to the final stage. I'm talking about Operation Fertility, obviously. Christina had me fooled. I never knew she was capable of this. It must have been the choice of Steins Gate that sent her here. Don't worry. I have everything under control. Nothing can stop us now. El Sai Kangaroo. I put away my phone and turned to Kurisu. Were you listening? Good. Commence preparations for Operation Verdandi. First, explain what that is. We're going to build your time leap machine, Christina. And you'd better not say it can't be done, not after showing me the way. Well, this is Akihabara. I should be able to find the parts I need. Then it's decided. I'm placing you in charge of this operation. Whatever you need, ask, and it shall be yours. Together we shall complete the first time leap machine in human history. Kurisu nods. Her eyes are shining with fierce, hungry light. As I thought, she's a scientist to the core. And on that note, I am leaving this here. That was a super long episode, but it had a lot of information, a lot of confusing information, and me and my poor tongue twister. Me and my ability to not pronounce words. Meh. Anyways, if you're confused, you're not alone. It was all kind of confusing. Well, sort of. Not really. They kind of dumbed it down a lot, so... But whatever. Anyways, if you're enjoying the series and you want to see more from me and you want to see what happens next, then please subscribe and do all that YouTube shit. And in the next video, I guess we're going to spend a few moments with Mayuri, who is probably confused. So we'll see you then. In order to differentiate, in order to differentiate, why can't I say this word?